Today, we are opening this box. What is in this box, you may be asking? Markers. Not just any markers, though. Ohuhu Markers. Disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. But, you know, Ohuhu, if you ever want to sponsor me in the future, you know, I'm here. But actually, this was a Christmas gift from my best friend, and oh my gosh, bless her, because this is 216. She got me this for Christmas. She's the best friend anyone could ask for, man. Yeah. Let's get to opening this. Oh. Okay. So it comes in this lovely bag. Oh, I'm gonna actually cut this off. Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for like the bad lighting. I'm recording this at night because it's too loud in my house during the day because I live with my parents, and my younger siblings are just, they're really loud. But, oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. Okay, now I gotta organize them. Gotta color swatch them first though. Yeah. Alright, so it came with the markers, and they're in like their own little bag inside of the bag. But then it also has, oh, this is to put behind your paper. Can it be read? There we go. If you are coloring on thin paper, please put this pad between your coloring sheets to prevent any bleed through. I didn't know it came with this. I was just gonna put like a piece of paper behind like the sketchbook, but this, I will use this now instead. And then the color swatches. Oh, it's just kind of like an about them. It tells me all the colors. Wow! Let's get to color swatching. So, something that I learned is I'm not very good at staying in the lines. I don't really use alcohol markers, so not sure how much they bleed, but yeah, staying in the lines is a struggle. And ta-da! There's the finished color swatches. They look so pretty. Oh my gosh. As I was doing the color swatches, I tried to keep all the markers in order on my bed. That's why I have them all there, so that I can make this like cute time lapse of me putting all the markers in order in the box. But it didn't quite turn out that way. My hand was just in the way, so yeah, I just kind of put them all in there. But now that I have all the colors sorted and organized and swatched, I started doing some sketching to see and test out different ideas of what I wanted to actually draw and then use the markers for. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, is I'm just sketching out some ideas. I had like an idea in mind. I was either gonna draw a person, this dude, he was just gonna have like a hoodie, you know, he has little horns, and then this next person that I was drawing, I wanted them to kind of like be looking a little sad boy. I don't know, he's just kind of gonna be there. But then I was like, no, he's kind of just a little too basic. Then I started sketching some of those like fruit magical drinks, you know, where they have a whole bunch of cute little things inside of them. It's like something that I want to be better at drawing. I just, whenever I see those from other artists, I'm like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. I want to make stickers of those for myself. Like, oh my gosh. I didn't actually end up going with that though. I actually ended up going with the next sketch that you will see in a little bit. Something that I did start doing in this sketchbook is, so I always used to use mechanical pencil to do all my sketches, and whenever I did that I would always end up smudging whatever I was drawing, and I really didn't like that because I wanted kind of whatever I drew to stay in the same place and not smear or smudge. And then I started using just pencils that I had gotten for my art classes last semester, and they don't smear as much or really at all, which like is wonderful. So forget mechanical pencils, those will just be for note taking. So I'm just gonna be using actual pencils right now. So if that's something you struggle with, maybe look into getting like really nice art pencils. And then back to the sketch, I was drawing a dude here. He's got like a little gas mask on. The idea for that sketch, it's like the most detailed of all the sketches here, and so I ended up going with that one. It's a Lethal Company inspired, if any of you have heard of that game. It's been pretty popular lately. I've had a lot of fun playing it with my friends, and so I was like, oh, I want to do something that's Lethal Company, because I see all the cute fan art for it. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be part of that. I know that this isn't exactly this like same look as Lethal Company employees in the game, but it's why it's inspired by Lethal Company. It's not exact. Kind of wanted to have the guy's face showing, so I just like looked up a image of a gas mask on Pinterest, and then, you know, the outfit is pretty much the same as it is in the game. So yeah, that's what I'm sketching that up for. I'm like trying to think of things to say, but I think I'm just kind of gonna ramble about random things until I get to when I'm actually using the Ohuhu markers. Then I'll talk about like my experience using them. But now, since it's just a sketch, I'll just, you know, talk about whatever. I'm trying to do this actually without a script, so making sure that the audio fits into certain places is like, oh no, because I'm like having to record certain parts, and I'm like watching my video as I'm talking about it, and then I'm like, oh wait, there was so many pauses and stuff, so wait, I gotta stop this recording and then go back edit it. It's like, oh no, now I have like 20 more seconds to fill much more than like I thought I did, so it's like, so there is something I do want to ramble about that I will talk about later in the video, but like the marker part's coming soon, so you're gonna leave that for after that. Yeah. And then after this, I'm going to show like the little color swatch and then a marker. And it's just kind of crazy how different the color looks on the marker tip versus what actually is drawn or colored. Kind of crazy. But yeah, anyway, here's me starting off. I started off coloring the mask, which I did in gray. It's kind of really streaky. Something that I found is that the paper of my sketchbook is kind of not exactly the best for markers, just because it bleeds a lot. Like it bled a lot more than it did on the swatching paper. And then when it came for making the darker shades of gray, I did like one layer, and then I did a second layer of the same color, and then if I wanted anything to be darker than that, I then got a different gray, or like an almost black, as you saw for like the outlines of the details of the mask, just to, so it's not like the repetitive of the same exact color. Like, let's get a different one in there just so there's a much bigger difference. And this was actually like my first time ever drawing a gas mask, so I wanted to just try and do a simpler one, so that's why there's not like an insane amount of detail on it. And as I was coloring the body, I was trying to go a little bit more slower so that the color would be more even and less streaky, because I noticed that that's something that I did with the mask. The gray is like pretty uneven, so I was trying to be a little more even with the orange here. I didn't quite do that on the left side of the body, because I feel like, oh, it's not going to dry that fast. I could just, you know, go one layer and then a second layer beneath it. Nope. It kind of dries really fast, and I noticed like trying to blend stuff was pretty difficult for me. And then for the shading of the orange, I just used, you know, the second layer of the same color, and then I went in with a darker color of orange to get just those extra details in there, or the shadows. And then I used a darker gray for like the straps right here, and then an almost black, I think, to shade it. I could have just done, I don't know, I know I definitely did a second layer of the same exact gray. It turned out pretty dark. I do like how I shaded it, but yeah. And then for underneath the mask, I did use just the color black, so that it's just that whole crazy shadow. And then since, you know, Lethal Company is more like apocalyptic style, instead of using a really bright, happy yellow, I wanted to use a more dull yellow to kind of fit into the apocalyptic vibe, and then I use like an orange-ish yellow to shade it. Or yellowish orange is the correct way to say it. And then yeah, I started coloring in his skin. I kind of wanted him to be a bit tan, but also, like I said, with the whole like apocalyptic thing, kind of just a little more dull in color. And I know the orange totally like changes and gives the whole contrast to that whole idea, because orange is just right bright in your face in comparison to the rest of this, like once you see it finished. Right here, I definitely should have used the finer tip, because the markers are double-sided. You've got the brush tip and then you've got the fine tip, because as you can see, it's not a very fine coloring in of those little tiny triangles, so I definitely should have fixed that. And then here I am coloring his hair. I wanted to finish shading the face after I had the hair done, just so I could kind of do a comparison, like, and have the color of the face match that. I don't know, you know, I'm not even making sense. Am I making sense? I have no clue. And then I was having that whole, like, streakiness of the color problem, because I found that it was gonna be difficult for me to be able to, like, just streak everything, because the hair is very pointy and curvy, and just trying to get that all. So the hair is separated into 3 different, like, areas, which I did use to my advantage, because I kind of do draw hair this way anyway, to where like the middle is like the brightest part of the hair, and then the top and the bottom of the hair are like more darker. And so I shaded that, you know, went over the top and bottom part a second time with the same exact color, and then I went over it again with a darker color brown to have like just the darkest part of it. Oh my gosh, so I have a really difficult time trying to articulate my words and say things in a way that actually makes sense. So like my first 2 videos that I did, I actually wrote a script out so I could like just, you know, have it all written out. I can say what I want to say, but then I felt like such a robot just reading from a script. Like it didn't feel real. So something that I'm trying to do is make a video, and I'm just watching it and then talking about it, making commentary as I'm watching it, so just it's more real. Like I still have an idea of what I want to say, but I'm not saying everything word for word. I don't want to seem fake. I want to be real with you guys. I want to show you guys like my actual personality in my videos, and so I think that's something that I will work on, is just getting better at talking and better explaining myself so that you guys can understand what I'm trying to tell you and convey to you guys. I'm definitely one of those people who likes to have something written and in front of them, because it makes me feel better about what I'm gonna say, but you know, then doing so I kind of lose that authenticity of what it is that I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I'm gonna try not to use scripts, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, back to talking about the drawing. Yeah, so I started coloring in his eyeballs here and his skin. For the skin tone, I just went over a second time with the same exact color. And also, sorry, you guys keep hearing me like crack my knuckles. I have to like fidget and do something with my hands. Anyway, this is where I think I blended the best in the piece. I used an actually different colored marker, and then I went over it with the skin color marker so that it would blend, and I tried to do that as fast as I could before the marker dried out, because it's a lot harder to blend when it's dry. It's easier when it's still wet and like active. So, and I wanted to give him like a little blush, but I didn't want to use red because that would have been just like such a stark contrast, so I just used more muted like brown colors. And then I finished coloring in the rest of the mask, I realized like a little too late, like, oh no, that I wasn't supposed to color that in with his skin color. And then even though I was finished coloring it, it didn't feel complete to me. I typically always do line work, so I just went over everything with my micron pens just to outline all the details and such. I don't think there's like a really insane amount of thing for me to say about me doing the line work, so I'm just gonna talk about the thing that I wanted to ramble about now. So basically what I wanted to talk about was about Felix, PewDiePie's recent video that he did, his, I think it was like 30-day drawing challenge to see like how much he would improve in the 30-day time period. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people in the art community have been talking about it, and I think it's really a really good thing to talk about because it just shows that you don't necessarily need to go to school, or you don't need to follow these certain formulas, as people like to say, for drawing. Like, you don't need to have that like circle and then the T lines in the face to make a face. You can just draw how you want, and you can still be really good as long as you practice. And it was just really cool and inspiring to see how much he had improved as like a non-artist. I do realize he does have a little bit of like a art background, but still, it's kind of like he was working from ground zero at that point, since it's not something he had done in a long time. Like, honestly, after seeing one of his marker drawings, it's like, oh my gosh, he like picked up how to use alcohol markers really quickly and really well. He's like really great at shading, and he's already got a great understanding of proportion. And I feel like a lot of artists get discouraged from thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't do art this certain way, oh, I suck. But it's like, no, you really don't. There's not just one way to do art. Art is however you make it to be, you know. Everyone has their own style, their own way of doing things, and that, you know, applies to art as well. And you just have to make it work for you. You don't work for art. I mean, I guess some people do, but like, what I'm trying to say is, you know, make it your own. Make it how it's comfortable for you. And, you know, as much as people don't want to hear it, like, it's true, you know, practice, 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 and you'll get better. It's the hard truth, but it's true. But no, his video like totally really inspired me. It's like, oh my gosh, like, is this how much I could be improving if I just worked in my sketchbook every day? And you don't even need to have a lot. Like, a lot of the times it was just one drawing for him a day, and you know, that's all it takes. It's just, you gotta do at least a little something. But yeah, I think it was really encouraging to see an experience from a non-artist perspective, because a lot of the media that I consume anyway is just full of people doing art who have been doing art forever. I don't get to see a viewpoint from outside of that. And then one other thing that I do want to say about this is that draw what you like. If you don't like doing realism or life drawing and, like, you know, drawing fruits and apples and pears and all that, then don't draw that if that doesn't make art fun for you. Draw what you like. If that means drawing your favorite character 100 times from this one series, go ahead and do that. Make art fun for you. You know, that's what Felix did. That's what I do. And I'm sure so many other artists do that too. And that's what makes it fun, is you do what you like, not what you think others want you to do. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. It's something that I really wanted to talk about, so... Anyway, a quick review of the markers. As you can see, there's definitely bleed through the paper. If I didn't have that plastic sheet behind it, it definitely would have bled through to the next page, and maybe even the page after that, but I'm not using the right kind of paper. I did have a lot of fun working with the Ohuhu markers. They were all really bright, so trying to make or get darker colors for like an apocalyptic, very like muted kind of scene or character was difficult, because they're just really bright, the colors. I don't typically use alcohol markers, so I'm not the greatest at blending them yet, but that's something that I want to learn to become better at. Even though the paper in my sketchbook isn't the best for alcohol markers, I'm still going to use them anyway, because why not? I have them, and I had a lot of fun with this drawing. Obviously, like I mentioned, the marker set was a gift from my friend to me, so I can't quite say exactly, you know, like, oh, would I choose this over Copic? But like, looking at the numbers, it's like, you're definitely getting a great deal with the Ohuhu markers over Copic, because of just the the vast difference in prices that they are. If you want cheap, really good, you know, alcohol markers, I would say definitely do Ohuhu Markers, get them. I feel like you have to take what I am saying, anything that I'm saying, with like a grain of salt, because yeah, I've not really worked with alcohol markers. I don't know how to use them like really well yet, so I could just be saying like, oh my gosh, I love these, but it's like I don't really have much to compare them to, but they were a lot of fun. I love the bright colors. I will say that I don't like how fast the markers dry before it becomes like, oh, all streaky and stuff, but I think that's just alcohol markers in general. I do have like a tiny experience with Copic markers. The tip for Ohuhu markers honestly do work a lot better. They stay alive a lot longer, seemingly, versus Copic. Like, I do have a couple of them. Like, literally, I have like, 5 Copic markers, and their tips, I didn't even use them that much, but they're already like super duper bent, and it's just not a good thing. So Ohuhu wins in that. And then something else exciting is that I'm going to open up my sticker shop on March 1st, so be sure to look out for that. I will keep you guys updated on that on like Instagram. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I hope you guys are too. Anyway, thanks for listening and watching my video. Hope to see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good day.